But he's 29 years old. When Michael three-peated the first time, Chris, he was 30. He is, this would be 4 Super Bowl championships, which would put him with Joe Montana and Terry Bradshaw, and looking up only at Tom Brady, again at the age of 29. Like, obviously, you're on the radio every single day talking about this. What is your sense of what are the right things to say about Mahomes at this moment, and if he wins 9 days from now?
I think the comparisons to Michael Jordan are reasonable. Like, I think it's fair to be having those conversations now because Patrick Mahomes has that same air of inevitability around him. Greeny, I looked this stat up. I couldn't believe it. Patrick Mahomes has trailed in the fourth quarter in every single Super Bowl he's played, and he's 3-1.
He trailed in overtime last year.
He trailed in overtime.
That's right.
So there's this inevitability that's around Patrick Mahomes that we asserted or we applied to Michael Jordan when he was at the height of his powers in the 90s. And when you think about this guy being in his 5th Super Bowl in the last 6 seasons, starting every season on conference championship game weekend, because that's where he's been as a starter every single year, it is absolutely incredible. We've never seen a start to an NFL career like this, ever.
And again, we talked about it earlier. Not only that, Chris, but again, who he's beating guys that are going to go down as all-time great quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson may be a 3-time MVP before the age of 30. Josh Allen, arguably the best quarterback today. And, oh, by the way, Joe Burrow. So, to me, like, the greatness, the context of what he's doing against who he's doing against, to me, is a historic part of this.
For me, I compare him to Magic because Magic is the player that I can remember Showtime starting his career winning championships early. Michael Jordan had to go through a lot of pain. We never seen really Patrick Mahomes have to struggle. Now, I think maybe the Michael Jordan could be Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson when they figure out, if they figure out that test. But I feel like we have to see how this story ends. Patrick Mahomes' story has started off great. Let's see how it finishes because the story of the GOAT is about being great through a long period of time, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's doing what Jordan did in his peak, but he's doing it at the beginning.
Right.
But Mike T's point, you made this earlier about the trail of heartbreak that he leaves in his wake, right? These great players, the Karl Malones and Charles Barkleys of this era that never will get to taste victory if Mahomes continues to keep this up. Yeah, you got to admire it. Look, I know there's a lot of people out there that are bored with it, sick of it, want to see somebody else win, think they get all the calls, all that crap. Like, Mahomes is doing something special. One of the reasons I watch sports is to see stuff that's never been done before.
No doubt.
And that's what's going on here, and I think you have to appreciate it.
Final word, Canty.
No, I'm with Graz on that one, so much so that I'm going to be in the building for Super Bowl 59 because I want to see if Patrick Mahomes can actually pull it off. This is an opportunity to do something that we've never seen in the Super Bowl era. And as somebody that's won a championship, I know how hard it is to fight against human nature, to do it every single year, to go through that grind, to rebuild your team, to start from zero and get back to the mountaintop. And knowing you have the bullseye on your back every single time you take the field.
I'm going to be at the game, too. I just want to make sure I'm not sitting behind you. Can I see, just when we get to the break here, I need to know what seat you're in because I don't want to be watching the Super Bowl like, what is that? What just happened? Chris Canty, unsportsmanlike, every weekday on ESPN Radio.
Bring it up, cover the spread.
Fortenbaugh would know that, and frankly, he would know a lot more about gambling than I would, as well he should, because he is kicking my rear end in this Greeny versus Joe. If this was a fight, they would stop it. So through these playoffs, we've been going head-to-head, keeping track of our picks through the NFL playoffs. One correct pick equals 1 point. And you can play along. You can pick who you think will be the winner for a chance to win some bonus bets. Check out the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app for more details. As you can see, last week, Joe had a very good week. I had a very bad week. They sat Saquon at the end, so he didn't get it.
That was brutal.
The Bills are heartbreaker. I don't know how Allen didn't get in the end zone in that game. So he's way ahead of me.
This is the part where the classless bum makes a tasteless joke. Classless bum, yes. Tasteless joke, no. Small sample size. It's only 9 picks. This is the Super Bowl. It's your Super Bowl, Greenberg.
That's right.
Do it.
So we're going to do 5 picks today so I have some chance of catching up, okay? Right. Let's get into it because I'm the only one who's actually picking the game itself.
Today, I'll give you something in New Orleans next Friday.
Okay, fair enough. But I'm picking the game today, and I will take the Chiefs at -1.5. I figure if I desperately need to win here, no one ever gets rich picking against Kansas City, so I will take the Chiefs minus the 1.5. How about you?
I can't blame you. If you're going to go out on your shield with a guy who's done it before. All right, I'm going to give you a double dipper here because this one goes together. Dallas Goedert, Eagles tight end, over 4.5 receptions, over 49.5 receiving yards. Surprisingly, to some, he's been Jalen Hurts' #1 target this postseason. 20 targets, to which you can see he's put up some big numbers in Philadelphia's 3 playoff games. Now, on top of that, great matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs, who are giving up the most receiving yards and 3rd most receptions to the tight end position this season. You got to account for A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Devonta Smith, and Jalen Hurts running the ball. This guy slides through the cracks. We like Dallas Goedert.
So that's 2 separate picks for Joe there, the over on the catches and the receiving yards. I will stick with the game pick, and I will go under. The Chiefs are going to try and win this game with defense. The Eagles are going to try and win this game with defense. The number is pretty high, 49.5. I will take the under for the game. That is my second pick. Joe, what's yours?
Fascinating note on that. You normally see sharp under money come in late in the process because they want the public to push the number up because the over. We're already seeing under money down to 48.5. Keep that in mind moving forward. Very savvy, Greenberg. Okay. All right, my last one for right now, A.J. Brown, over 69.5 receiving yards. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have to throw the ball in this game. Why not get the ball to A.J. Brown, who, against man coverage this year, has more receiving yards than any wide receiver in the NFL, which includes Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Tyreek Hill. Jalen Hurts has a lot of success throwing against man coverage as well. Take a couple shots down the sideline, 69.5 yards shouldn't be a problem, considering he did go over 90 in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
My final pick might sound illogical, but I think this is a high number. I'm taking the under on Patrick Mahomes' rushing yards. I know he runs a lot in the playoffs. We've all seen him win games with his legs, but 30 yards feels like a lot to me. He can pick up a first down here or there without getting to that total. So I will go under on the rushing yards for Patrick Mahomes. So here's a look at the picks so far. We'll have a few more as we continue. Again, I got the game under. I got Mahomes under the rushing yards, and I have the Chiefs.
It's a sexy card, Greenberg.
You like it?
It's a sexy card. Yeah, you're going against the norm on a lot of this.
Joe has a trio of Eagles pass-catching props. We'll see how all that winds up. In the meantime, we'll make the remainder of our picks as we continue. Let me bring the rest of the group in here because I have a different question today. Let's look at the early odds to win next year's Super Bowl, because the question, we've talked so much about Mahomes and how he has shut out Allen and he has shut out, I know Burrow beat him once, but still doesn't have a championship, and Lamar still hasn't gotten through it. So I'm going to say we're going to live in a world, the Chiefs are next year's favorite as we speak to win the Super Bowl, but the Ravens are right there and the Bills are right there and the Bengals, as you see, a little further down the line, but they have Burrow. We've talked about these great quarterbacks never getting there. One of these days, Patrick Mahomes is not going to win the championship, right? He's not just going to win it every single year. So we put the question up to all of our guys, who will be the one who wins the first Super Bowl that isn't won by Patrick Mahomes? And I see Graziano, you're taking Josh Allen.
I am, because I feel like they've shown, the Buffalo Bills, they're talking about stay the course, one of these years it'll work out for us. They believe that, but they're also not afraid to get aggressive to improve their team, right? We've seen them trade a first-round pick for Stephon Diggs, right? We've seen them stretch for Von Miller in free agency. Obviously, that didn't work out as well. So you know that the Bills have a sound structure that gets them back there every year, and you also know that they're not afraid of trying to make that move to get them over the top.
Mike T, why do you go Lamar?
Because outside of Derrick Henry, this group is extremely young, including Zach Orr, their first-year defensive coordinator. I think their coaching staff's going to get better. And I think when you think about Zay Flowers amongst others, just give this team a little bit more time together. And if they had played Kansas City 10 times this year, Greeny, it's probably a 50-50 split. I think Kansas City's getting older. I think Baltimore's getting better.
Bart?
And for that same point, when you talk about Graz, that the Buffalo Bills are willing to take the big swings, the Baltimore Ravens are more about drafting and development, which gives you a longer longevity with your window. So I think the window is just beginning to open as the Ravens have kind of shifted to a offensive type of organization.
I'm going to make one other point here. I feel like the Bills have given their best shot every time and just gotten beat. I feel like the Ravens beat themselves every single year.
And that's another reason to take the Bills.
Well, no, I feel like maybe one of these days the Ravens figure it out. Like the Bills just, I think they've been beaten because the Chiefs have just been this much better than them.
But the ball bounces funny, and sometime maybe one of these years the Bills will be this much better. I think they're in a good spot. The Ravens are a solid pick.
Joe, what do you think?
Somebody from Buffalo needs to make a play. The greatness of Mahomes is that he's got other guys that make a play. Third down in overtime last year, it was Chris Jones who pressured Purdy, threw it away, it led to the field goal.